Can you talk to me a little bit more about what works on LinkedIn versus other places, specifically for B2B companies?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example from a post that I wrote a few days ago. And really what you need to do, and if you don't follow Brian Balfour over at Reforge, he's been one of the sort of like early growth marketers that I followed that helped me shape my understanding of product marketing and storytelling and how to do this. He has a model called the 4 Fits model. And the 4 Fits model, essentially like channel, model, fit. Go take a look at it. Read the article. It's a 4-part series. It's fantastic. Content, channel, fit in this case is kind of like an adaptation of his model. And it's really about understanding, again, what your audience expect to see. In LinkedIn specifically, there's about 4 or 5 types of content that we find perform best. LinkedIn, really depending on the time of day, you might have 2 minutes between a meeting, or you might have 30 minutes at the beginning of the day consuming like news and what's valuable to you, or like you're looking for a solution. You need to identify that people are going to be in different states depending on the time of day, what they're doing, sort of how they're interacting with the platform. So the 4 or 5 types of content that work really well, one is like, teach me something, but don't teach me something that I could Google. I want to hear your story and what you learned. So not how-to content, but how-I content. And the most important thing that people get wrong with that is they don't connect it to a good hook. And when we go through and kind of analyze like your profile and your content, I can show you how we write hooks, how we write re-hooks, what that looks like. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have attention on LinkedIn, close to 75% of people from one of the more recent studies that came out don't expand your about you section on LinkedIn. They just see your first 2 lines. The same is true for your content. You could have, Michelangelo's David in your post, but if your hook isn't good, it's not powerful, it's not compelling, no one's going to read that content. So your how I story needs to have power words, it needs to have contrast, it needs to be like a strong movie trailer that has tension between your opening line, your hook, and your second line, which is your rehook. It should be like a really good first date, which it gives you enough indication that you want to learn more, right? See them again, but not enough where you feel like you've seen it all and you don't need to expand that section. So that's number 1. Number 2 is entertain me, right? LinkedIn, work is stressful. Working in SaaS, we came off some back-to-backs. Ourselves right now is like, sometimes I just want to be entertained. I want to see something. I want to bring some joy to my day. Third thing is challenge me. I might have a perspective that, a new idea that you had that I haven't thought of. I want to be exposed to new ideas and sort of broaden my thinking. Don't be afraid to bring your challenger point of view. My favorite analogy is you don't want to be like that chicken dish at a wedding. You know that like safe dish that a lot of people serve because it's not going to offend anyone? Yes, it's not going to offend anyone, but it will not be memorable. You will not be remembered for that. Your content needs a clear, strong stance, and you should build something that 100 people will love, not like 1,000 people will kind of like, or you're not saying anything memorable. So challenge people, don't be afraid to do that. And then inspire people, motivate people, share your stories and the things that are going to bring people that jolt of energy, the same way that my cold brew coconut milk, which is really what fuels my body, does. Those are really the 4 key types of content that tend to perform best. I think we can talk about the algorithm, we can talk about what's working, we can talk about like the tactical stuff, but if you just focused on those specifically, it's going to help not only get you to build attention, but your how you stories backed by data, backed by proof points, backed by the exact thing you did and what you learned are what going to get you traction and trust over time.
Got it.